Okay, guys, continuing on with the review. This is probably going to be the longest review video in this set because it's long division, all right? Long division takes many steps. But anyways, on this one here, the first thing you're going to want to do is rewrite it like it's a long division problem. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay? And we're dividing here, notice, by b minus 10. b minus 10. So I'm going to try to color code as best I can, guys, but basically we're going to start with the first term that we're dividing into, and one by one we're going to eliminate each of these terms here. Okay? Using subtraction. So to get a b3 with a b, do you agree I need to do a b squared? Now, I'm going to use distributive property here. Okay? And let me erase my mark so that it's not so messy. But I know this b squared times this b is b3. And b squared times a minus 10 is a minus 10b squared. Now comes the next key step. I need to subtract. When I do, by distributive property, this minus right here becomes a plus, right? And what we want to happen, notice right here, b3 minus b3 is 0. And what's left here is negative 3b squared, right? What do we do next? We bring down the next term, 24b, a positive 24b. That's a plus there. Watch your signs, by the way. One mess up on signs and you're messed up. Okay, so now we're going to start over. How do I make this b now become a minus 3b squared? I'm going to do a minus 3b times it. Notice I'm matching up the signs exactly. So minus 3b, guys, times the b is minus 3b squared like we want it. Minus 3b times a minus 10 is a plus 30b. Now here comes the key step again. When I minus, this negative becomes a plus. This plus right here becomes a minus or a negative, right? So notice right here, 3 minus 3 is 0. Right here, 24 minus 30 is negative 6b. What do I do again? Bring down the final term, the plus 70. So I'm going to do it one more time. This time I want a minus 6b. So I'm going to times by minus 6. Minus 6, when I times that with the b, is minus 6b. Minus 6 times a minus 10 is plus 60. Again, the key step is when I minus, this negative becomes a plus. This plus here basically becomes a minus or negative. We have to distribute our minus after all, right? And so 6 minus 6, of course, is 0 b's. And I'm left here with 70 minus 60 is 10. My remainder, therefore, is 10, right? Coming up here, I would write it as 10 over my divisor, b minus 10. So I'm going to write sideways here, guys. So if you look carefully, my final answer is going to be b squared minus 3b minus 6 plus 10 over what I divided by, b minus 10. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, guys, hopefully you tried number 10. But I already have it set up, as you can see, like long division like in elementary school. So let's first start out with getting rid of this 10b cubed. We're going to do that with a 10b squared. Okay, and I'm going to distribute over here again. So I'm going to get a 10b cubed and a 70b squared. Again, I did this times that right there to get 70b squared. Okay. The key step again, when I minus, 10 minus 10 is 0. I'm left with, when I minus, see how I almost messed up, guys? Don't forget to distribute your minus. Wow, I almost messed up big time there. 76 minus 70 is 6b squared. Please remember to distribute your minus. And now, of course, I'm going to bring down the plus 40b. And now I want to get a 6b squared, so I'm going to times b by 6b. Again, I'm going to do this over here, distributive property. Okay, guys? So I'm going to get 6b squared, and I'm going to get a 42b. The key step, which I better not mess up again, is when I minus here, this becomes also a negative or minus. Notice the 6b squareds are now gone. And I have a negative 2b left over. All I need to do now is bring down my minus 14. And one more time here, I'm going to times by negative 2, because that right there is going to give me negative 2b. That right there is going to give me negative 14. Ooh, we got a cool problem here, guys. So notice when we subtract, this becomes a plus, this becomes a plus. I get 0 b's and 0 for my number. In other words, I just get a 0, right? I got a 0 remainder. What that means is this answer up here is an actual factor of my original expression. So my answer is, first of all, 10b squared plus 6b minus 2. All right? But understand that if I took this times the b plus 7, I would get back the 10b cubed expression. Okay? So whenever you get a remainder of 0 there, guys, you know you have a perfect factor. Try to remember that. So in other words, guys, I know that b plus 7 times 10b squared plus 6b minus 2, if I multiply that out using distributive property, I would get what we started with right there. Okay? So pause the video again if you need to. Okay, guys, so to speed the video along, I went ahead and did number 11 and 12. Let me show you my work. So here's number 11. All right? The key thing is I showed in blue whenever I did the subtraction, and notice how I distributed my blue. Like, for example, here the minus became a plus. Right here the minus became a plus. Right here the minus became a plus. Because whenever I minus a negative or minus, I get a plus, right? And we happen, again, get, in the end, a 0 remainder. So it's important to understand that here's my answer. Also, what's important to understand is that if I took b minus 3, that's what I was dividing by, and I times it with the b squared plus 5b plus 4, this would give me exactly what I started with up here. Okay, the b cubed 2b squared minus 11b minus 12. All right, pause the video if you need to. But again, I showed all my subtraction with blue, so hopefully you could follow along how I distributed it. Okay, and then finally on number 12, this was a cool one because once I did b squared times b minus 2, as you can see again with my blue subtraction shown here and here, I end up with a 0 remainder after the first step. So my answer is b squared, but just as important, understand what that means, since I got a 0 remainder, is if I took b squared times b minus 2, would I not get b cubed minus 2b squared? So a 0 remainder, guys, you have to remember, basically tells you have a perfect factor, as we call it. You actually basically have a root or solution to the problem. Okay, so hopefully you're able to absorb all that information in this video, guys. And hopefully you practice some long division with me along the way. But that is the end of the video. I'll see you in class.